Hello everybody, this is MKLeo. This is Go Talks. This show is to get to meet your favorite players with your favorite players. We're gonna be asking a lot of questions, some spicy ones about their character, about what they think about this scene, and most importantly, what they think about the tournaments coming up. So thank you very much, Metafy, for allowing me to have this show on my own. And don't forget that later this year, I'm gonna be having a Joker Disconstructed guide and an Ultimate Masterclass. Metafy has Smash, FIFA, and even chess. So you can look out for any gaming coaches that you want to learn from. And you can get very, very good. So shout outs to Metafy. Love you guys. And let's get right into it. The first invite we're having today is going to be one of my best friends, of course, one of the best players in the scene, the best Game & Watch player in the world, in my opinion, and also my brother in Luminosity Gaming, Maister.
Hello, how's everyone doing?
So Gomo just happened, really interesting bracket. You know that we had a lot of fun with our friends and like just hanging out in Canada. Toronto's a great city. So yeah, tell me about your experience, not only as a competitor but also as going to Canada again for an event.
Yeah, well, first as a competitor, like I had a pretty okay result in my opinion. Like I didn't get top it like I wanted, but I got ninth and I got a really good win. Like I beat Light, so I think that goes up on my resume. It's pretty good. But most importantly, like the tournament was run really well. Like everything went smoothly in my opinion. And also just Toronto as a whole is really, really beautiful. Like this is my second time in Canada. The first one was Battle of BC this year. I had never gone to Canada before. And it just keeps surprising me, man. Like it's really, really beautiful. Everything is so good about it. Like it's the best way I can put it. And also the food in there was really good too. You know, we had some really, really good food. I don't know what
Yeah.
it is about Wendy's in Canada, but it's great. I don't know why.
It's
dude.
goaded. It's so good. Every single night we're like, Wendy's twice. Oh, dude,
dude.
remember the last dinner? The spicy wings. Those were
Dude,
also
those
very
were
good.
so
Like,
good.
like
So good. We were like, what do we have for dinner? And then like Leo was just like, hey, we should have wings. And I was like, do wings taste in Canada? Why would you ask that to yourself? I don't know. But I was like, okay, let's try it.
that.
So they were so good. They were so good. We
Yeah.
also like had like some like sushi. I don't remember from like where, but it was good too. It was really good.
It was nearby for sure. But yeah, what do you think about the top 8 also? To talk a little bit about results now.
Okay, it was a little interesting. Like it was pretty interesting. First, I think a lot of players that had never had like a huge breakout made it. Like I know Tilde won like Riptide last year, but Riptide it had like a couple good players, you know. But this was Gommel. It was really stacked, and he made it all the way to top 8, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Also, there's Midnight from SoCal, which beat me.
Yeah.
So we kind of messed up in there, but
So
hey,
that.
kudos to Midnight for sure because like it was game 5 and then he 3-stuck me the last game. He was playing so well that last game 5, I genuinely got desperate. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like I'll just run it back from losers. Where then I had to fight Twig and I was like, okay, well he's playing really well. He's going on a losers run, so I think all of the players that made top 8 did a really good job. And then Sonic's winning his first major because I also know he won CEO like last year, but this was a super major. Like this
Yeah,
was
like
his
Smash
win.
Major.
Yeah. So CEO was one thing, but this was like even bigger, you know. So like, I think like definitely congrats to him. It was between him or Spargo in the grand final, so I was happy. I was like, okay, Cybersonics, who's our homie,
Yeah.
and then Spargo, who's our homie as well. So yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Shoutouts to Sonics. Shoutouts to Tweak, of course. And dude, I can't believe Sonics finally won his major. That dude has been playing online, grinding every single day. He asks for friendlies every single time, and I know that he's super hard worker. So shoutouts to Sonics, and hopefully Smash Factor happens now so I can get my run back. I'm salty and I need to beat Sonics.
Yeah, the 3-0 didn't look nice, bro. What's going on?
And what's your perspective of the Luminosity events coming up?
Oh, it's really good. Like Smash needs something like this, you know? It needs something big. It needs with especially with like a couple of circuits out of the way now. We definitely need something to look out for. Like especially like next year was looking a little grimy in terms of events. Like there aren't really that many anymore. So yeah, it's really good that like Luminosity partnered with like the EMG boys. They're doing all of this. They're giving us a lot of good events too. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I think everyone is.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a great year for Smash. Shout outs to Luminosity Gaming for making Mash back, right? Like they brought it back. There's so many tournaments coming up. They're picking up some very good players, Zomba, Apollo Kage. There's a lot of talent coming up. Not only here but also in Mexico, like you mentioned. Smash Factor next week. How are you preparing for that? Are you excited?
Yeah, I'm excited. It's in Mexico City, which is where we're from. So it's pretty close to me. I don't have to take a plane for the first time for a major. Like even when it was in Puebla, I still had to drive like 3 hours, dude. So like driving 3 hours compared to flying 3 hours, almost the same thing. Yeah, no, I mean I love the fact that I have a major at driving distance, and I'm really, really looking forward to it. I care a lot about this tournament. It's in my hometown, so I want to do good.
I get it. Yeah, me too. I really want to win it. I know that if I want to win and if you want to win, we'll probably meet in the bracket like every other Smash Factor, right? So I'm excited to play you again in a
Yeah,
Mexican tournament.
that's actually funny. We've played at every single Smash Factor tournament. We played last year. We played at the first one. That's crazy.
Yeah, and hopefully we play in this again. Grand finals,
Yeah,
maybe winners finals. That would be crazy. But well, Meister, tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you start playing the Smash?
yeah. I started playing Smash like at around, well, at least competitively. I started playing Smash at around 8 years ago now. That's a long time, Jesus. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just started getting interested into tournaments because, like, I remember the first tournament I watched was like Apex back in Smash Four, and I was like, oh, this looks really cool. Like having a crowd behind you, like doing cool stuff. Like it was pretty fun. And I remember back then I always thought of like, hey, if I land a nine in a tournament, I think the crowd is gonna pop off. And that's also kind of why I stuck to Game and Watch because I was like, I need to do this. Like I just need to do it in a tournament. And I did it. And to this day, I've always been right about that. Whether the people pop off in a positive or negative way, they pop off. I've always been right about that. Like it's so funny.
The Nines always got an impression. That is one of my favorite moments too, when you hit the nine and everybody, except for me, which leads me to the next question, bro. What is your favorite Smash Factor moment?
It's definitely gonna be when I 90 you for sure.
I knew it. I knew it. That's
Yeah,
why,
because
dude.
I was like, see, that's a combo that I always laughed in Elite Smash, and when I landed it in a real tournament, I was like, "What? You can do that? That's insane!"
Dude, I swear I was mashing down B. I was mashing Rebel's Guard. Nothing came out.
No,
It
it's
was
just true.
true. Yeah, nothing I could have done. Okay, so a deeper question. When did you start thinking that you could become a top player and make a living out of this?
Okay, it's also going back to Elite Smash. It's literally I would play Elite Smash for well back in the day. It was for glory in Smash Four, and I would never lose or like almost never. I had like a 99% win rate. I was like, oh, I think I'm just beating everyone. I think I can do it. And then in Smash 4, I didn't really beat everyone at the beginning, but then I started beating everyone as well. Which, well, I started traveling at the end of it, so I couldn't really prove if I was like top 10, top 20, whatever, right? But I had good wins. I had wins on SDX back then. He was like top 10. I had a win on Mars. I had a win on, who else? On ESAM, on MBD. I don't remember, but I had a lot of good other wins. Oh, I had a win on Mistake back then. He was like top 2. Like, oh my god. It was really good wins. So I don't know. I think that made me think in the ultimate like, hey, if I could do it in Smash Four, I can do it in ultimate.
You were very good back in Smash 4. I remember you going to some tournaments in the US. At the same time, like me, I started going to tournaments. Combo Breaker was one of them, and that's the first time I saw you winning. And that was actually the first time I saw you playing outside of Mexico, which is very funny because I also didn't really saw you playing in Mexico back then. So I was really impressed by your play, and I was like, "Yo, like this dude is good." Game and Watch, of course, a character. If you ask me, like a really weird character. Like you know my opinions on Game and Watch. Sometimes I think it's good, sometimes I think it's not. Probably just the characters I play, but I mean, you were doing a very good job, and I always thought you could become like a top player. But back in Ultimate, I remember that a specific person released a tier list with Game Watch having a very bad placement on the tier list, and you didn't let that like annoy you. You just kept going. You knew that your character was broken, and let me tell you that even if there are all other like Game and Watch players doing good, you were the first one, and you were the one that basically made the metagame for this character.
Yeah, like listen, I was gonna say it. Like I was the first one, and I'll still always be the first one with that
Yeah.
character. Okay, like I was the first one to put him at grand finals of a major. I was the first one to put him in top 10 status according to people. I was the first one to beat every person on the rankings with that character because I literally have a win on every person besides I think Riddles. But yeah, like I'll always be the first one with that character. Like I kind of it's one of my biggest accomplishments, I guess. It's like no one thought that character could do anything, and then I was like,
Mhm.
really? Oh, really? You think so?
Yeah, great tournaments. I remember you coming up in 2019. At first, you struggle a bit against like some archetype of characters, of course, stories characters like Searsuit, the cutest pace. But you started realizing what was like slowing down your game, playing a little bit more grounded, and then you started beating really good players. So I remember Congo Saga. I thought I was gonna play you in grand finals that day when, dude, when you became I was really impressed, and unfortunately, you got third. You didn't get the first Mexican Grand Finals, but that was your first really, really good placement. So
That was so funny because like I remember at that tournament, I was like, dude, I have to fight Kameme, and you were like, oh shit, good luck. And then I was like, okay, let's just do this. It was 3-0,
yeah,
and then I was like, oh, Leo, I beat Kameme 3-0, and you were like, what? I was like, yeah, you just win Mega Man. You just win Mega Man.
because Kameme has always been one of my worst nightmares in this game. Even in Smash Four, I'm gonna be real. I never beat Kameme, Mega Man. So yeah, when I saw you playing against him, I was like, oh, I feel like Kameme is like it's too strong, like they say in Japan. But dude, I mean, like I said, that was the first time, and I saw like the big skill gap you got, right? Like the improvement there. What did you really do when you started like improving? What was like your thought process from changing like Mexican metagame and US metagame?
I don't know. That's always something I've thought. I'm like, I never know what I just did well. Because I remember I once went to my weekly. This is how it all started. And this is where I think I got good at the game. Because, like, I went to a weekly in Mexico where I knew I was going to fight Chag. I knew I was going to fight Javi. And I was like, those two players always beat me back then, right? I was like, well, if I get third place, that's fine, whatever, right? But then I was playing Javi in like winter semis. And, like, I remember I was just playing him and I was like, wait, I think I know what I'm doing. I don't know what I like. I don't remember what I thought about, but I was just like, I think I know what I'm doing, right? And then I had to fight Chag, and I was like, wait, I think I also know what I'm doing here. And I beat both of them. I won my first weekly because I never won a weekly in Smash Four. The first tournament I won in Smash Four was Combo Breaker. Like I hadn't even won a weekly back then. And I was like, I actually did it. Okay. And then I started winning every regional, and then I started winning everything in Mexico, really. And I was like, I really don't know what it is that I'm doing, but it's just working. And then that's what I did in the US. Except when I went to the US, the only thing I did different is that I studied bots a lot more. So like I would be like, okay, I'm gonna fight this guy, right? Like back then I used to fight Yeti a lot. He was like a Mega Man, and I struggled with him a lot. I think that's the reason why I beat Kamehameha 3 because I had just a lot of practice with that matchup. And I was just like, okay, well, I just have to study and not do the same mistakes again. And I think that's the main thing that made me good in Ultimate when I started competing or like traveling rather.
Like after you win a combo breaker, you said that you started winning every like tournament event, like weekly locals. Would you say that was like more as a like confident boost, or just that you somehow clicked without you knowing that something was happening?
I just kind of clicked. Yeah, I was like, that's literally the word I always use for it. I'm like, my brain just felt like it clicked, and I was like, why didn't I do this in Smash Four, or like, why didn't I start doing this at the beginning of Ultimate, right? And
Mm.
I don't know, it kind of just clicked. I was kind of just doing my thing, I learned how to adapt with time because I was like people started learning how to play with Game and Watch or like against Game and Watch, and I was like, okay, I think I have to adapt. Like studying is not enough, so I have to start like actually doing something against the counterplay that they are using against me. So yeah, I don't know.
You've been an unranked player, right? At the start of Ultimate, you weren't really in the PGR or anything, and you went from that to sixth on the PGR. Of course, you were the first player to do so, and I believe you are the highest player to do it of all time. So, dude, you were one of the biggest surprises of 2018, 2020, and nobody thought that Game Watch could be that good. So, I don't know. Tell me a little bit about how does it feel to be like to become so good so quickly and be like a top 10 player for so long.
It was just too many things happening at the same time. I went from like people not knowing who I was to like just me randomly walking at the venue, and I had like 30 people being like, "Hey, can you take a pic? Can you take a pic? Can you take a pic?" And I was like, "Yes, I can, guys, but hang on, I'm not used to this." Then I had like a lot of organizations trying to sponsor me. Shout out to LG, and yeah, no, it was just like a lot of things at the same time. Then I mean, like the Twitter thing, like everyone started hating me because of Game and Watch, and I was just so overwhelmed because I was like, my tweets usually get 10 likes, guys. I don't know how to deal with tweets that get 3,000 likes all of a sudden, dude. Like, it's crazy. I don't know. It was just a lot of things. I mean, I enjoyed every single one of it, aside from like a couple. But I think in general, I don't know. I really, really liked it.
That's where you started making a living out of Smash. So I guess that's pretty cool.
Yo, yeah. And up to this day, I think, yeah, I could still make a living out of Smash for a while. And I'm just happy about that. I was actually talking to my dad about that yesterday. He was like, because I was like, Dad, I'm so tired. Like, it was like a 5 hour flight. I'm so tired, right? He was like, "Yeah, but you gotta be grateful. You're literally playing video games for a living." And I was like, "Oh no, I am. I'm just tired. I'm just tired because it was a 5 hour
Yeah,
flight. No, like trust me, I am."
yeah, for sure. That's why we gotta keep grinding. We gotta keep try harding, bro. Let's make sure we get some friendlies. It's been a long time since we
It's been
played
a
for
long
so
time.
long.
Yeah.
What was your biggest inspiration when coming up to those rankings? Like, of course, we always look up to someone, right?
See, funnily enough, I don't think I ever looked for like to a player. Like I didn't.
Uh,
I didn't
it could
watch
be
a
like
melee
it can be like a
player.
character, you know?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Because that's what I was gonna say. It's like Smash related, not really. But for some reason, I've always looked at Rocky, like the the boxing player, whatever.
Dude.
Yeah, I've always looked at him because he's pretty similar in a lot of things that I go through, and I think maybe if a lot of people actually watch those movies, but like paid a lot of attention to them, they would also feel the same way in which I do, or maybe not. I don't know. Maybe I'm being corny and I don't care. Um, but he's literally a guy who went from like being no one, from like fighting in his locals, like at his local church,
Mm.
to then fighting in Las Vegas, to then fighting in, I don't know, dude, like fighting in New York. I don't know, right? Like that's what happened to me. I was a nobody, and then would play in my region. That's it. And then the next day, I had a breakout tournament in Las Vegas at Evo because I did really well at that Evo. I remember.
Mhm.
Um, and then when he got to the top, he then started going down, which happened to me like in 2022, I believe. And I was like, damn, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And then it's the same with Rocky because Rocky got way too into like the fame and everything. He like started like being a little bit of a sellout. And it kind of happened to me in 2022 when I was a free agent because I was like, I'm just gonna stream, whatever, right? Like it's okay. And then after that, I started going to like Genesis and I placed like 25th, and I was like,
Mhm.
I kind of placed 25th at Genesis. Literally last year, I got fifth place at Genesis. There's no way this happens, right? And that's where I was like, no, you gotta do the Rocky because Rocky. Okay, this didn't happen to me. Okay, shout outs to Adrian, and I hope this doesn't happen to him. But his
Adrian the
coach
goat.
dies. Yeah, his coach dies. Adrian, this won't happen to you. It's okay, man.
No, no.
Um, but he snaps because he goes like, okay, no, like everything's going downhill. I have to like literally start doing everything. And even his coach told him, he was like, what's the worst thing that can happen to like a competitor, to like a fighter or whatever, is getting civilized. I think that's the word he uses. And it's like he gets too used to like just living. He stops thinking about everything as like fighting, and that happens to me. It's like sometimes I just stop thinking about Smash. Sometimes I just start thinking about other stuff, and then I'm
Mhm.
like, no, you cannot do that. You're literally, this is your job. This is what you like to do. Like out of everything, yeah, this is my job and whatever, but it's what I like to do. Most importantly, So, um, I don't know. I have a lot of resemblance with Rocky. I could keep on going about this for hours, but just to make it simple, like he's definitely my biggest inspiration as to like getting better. And every time I'm having a slump, I always go back and watch the movies. And then the next tournament, I do
Mhm.
well. It's magic. It's freaking magic.
Dude, the movies you mentioned, I kind of do the same thing, but with a Spider-Man. That's another topic. But I also been like a Spider-Man fan. You know that, and yeah, I guess it kind of goes the same for him for me. And every single time I feel like not complaining anymore and watch Spider-Man, I'm like, dude, I gotta do it for Harry.
Yeah.
You always showed on Twitter that like you kind of don't like, you get too annoyed by the hate you get on Twitter because you played Game and Watch or because of the stuff you said before. Do you think that has made you not play that well at recent tournaments?
um. Okay, no, not at the recent ones, but actually, I don't think my play has ever been affected by what people say. Um, but I think my mentality and my just my social battery, I guess we can say, has definitely gone down ever since. Cause like, okay, I don't think anyone takes into account that when I started getting good, I was, and I mean, I still am. I was way too young. I was 19, or not even 19. When I started getting good, I was 17. And then when all the hate started coming, I had just turned 19. So you give that to a kid, because I was still a kid back then. I mean, I may still be a kid. I'm a young adult. Um, like, do you think anyone's gonna be ready for that? There's a lot of players up to this day that go through the same thing that I do, and I could tell them everything about how to handle it. Like, I would be a really good coach in terms of like social media, but because I know what to do well, what to do wrong, and I would be like, do as I say, not as I do, right? Um, but like you can't just expect people to like receive all that like stuff, all of that hate, all of that whatever, and be mature about it all the time. Like especially at such a young age. Like you will mess up, you will maybe say things you didn't want to. People will like take you from there and be like, "Oh, this person is a miserable person." And it's like, "No, he's just replying back to all of you being bad towards him." And sure, like don't get me wrong, out of all the things that have happened, I've messed up in a couple. I've owned up to it. I try to improve out of it. Like I'm actually going through a process regarding that I will later talk about, but I don't know. But like it's all just a process, man. You can't just expect people to like receive all of that and be okay
Mhm.
with it, or like just and that's the worst one, man. The just ignore it is like you can't just ignore it, man.
Yeah.
Because like you have a bad reputation, your stream has a bad reputation, your videos have a bad reputation, your image has a bad reputation, and not necessarily because of something you have done, but because of the
Mhm.
image that the people like portray you in. So like then people who don't know about Smash, they'll get into Smash, they'll be like, "Oh, who's Meister?" Right? Like, I'll use me as an example, and they'll be like, he's a Game & Watch player, but he's a terrible person." And then people will be like, "Oh yeah, but why is that?" "Oh, I don't know, cause Game & Watch." And it's like, bruh, like, okay, I've done
That's
stuff,
the
like I
worst.
said, but no way, dude. Like, it's never like nowhere near any other thing.
Yeah, I agree. The worst things to be hated of is basically, oh, because you play itch character, oh, because you said this that wasn't even like a bad thing to say. But yeah, I mean, I there's not that many players that get to do what you did. Like just even like I can call it ignore it, even though we already said that it's not like that. Like you overcame it, so that's really something to admire.
Yo, thank you, man. Thank you. Cause like I don't know. Like it's just like I've never really like cause like what you're saying, right? Like, I've never really ignored it. Rather, I've taken some of it as motivation. Like people I remember this one perfectly. Like last year at last year's MomoCon, I was seated 11th. I was like, dude, this is not the the seed I deserve. I deserve to be like at least third, right? People were like, "Oh, but you missed top 8 at Genesis, so bye bye. You deserve seed 11." And I was like, "Oh my god!" And then I remember someone replied to me. He was like, "Oh yeah, well, you have to prove the seeders wrong." And I literally replied to that guy with, "I have nothing to prove to anyone." And I literally went to MomoCon, placed third place, beating a fellow team member of ours now. And I also beat, I don't remember who else I beat. I beat Didi, I believe. Um, but I don't know. I popped up, I got third place, and then I went on Twitter. I was like, "Oh yeah, now do you guys think I deserve seed 11?" And everyone was like, "Oh man, but you gotta understand." And I was like, "No, no, no, you gotta understand, not me. You gotta understand, bro."
Dude, the cedars are always the worst. They always make you bad,
They
bro.
make me mad sometimes. Sometimes I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I deserve that seating. But I will be honest, 85% of the times I'm like, no, this ain't it. Like actually at Gobble, I was seated 14th. I got 9th. I was like, dude, I broke my seat. I break my seat every tournament, dude.
Oh yeah, yeah. Cedars are always going for you, bro. Like I don't know what it is. They. Mhm. I guess you still gotta prove them wrong, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you have any regrets on like tweeting some stuff or saying some stuff, or maybe not saying some stuff? You can be honest.
Yeah, no, I have, and I'm not ashamed of talking about this. Like, I have a bunch of regrets. I think everyone as a human being has a bunch of regrets. Not just like with us, it's a little more public because I mean we're public figures, duh. But I definitely have a bunch. Like the first one, the main one, you'll know about it. It was the syrup incident. Like I will be honest, when I went to Low Tide City, I had a really bad mentality. I was just pissed at the community in general because I was like getting treated super badly on my streams. I would have people come up to my Twitch chat and be like, "Oh, you're so washed," blah blah blah. And I was like, "What? Why am I getting called washed? I literally just got for that collision, right? Like, what's going on?" And I remember like every single thing I tweeted, it was just like everyone was on me, and like I was just like, you know what? I had this mentality where I thought like, okay, people have always thought I'm a piece of garbage, right? So you know what? Let's be a piece of garbage. It sounds stupid, and it was stupid, but
Mhm.
I'm that type of person, or I'm trying not to be anymore. Where if someone does something to me, and this is what I meant by the whole progress that I'm trying to go through. Like I'm that kind of person where if I someone does something to me, right? Or they say something about me, I will not forget about it. And I will make them own up to it. And I will make them regret saying that. By in this case, for example, when people call me watch, when people call me whatever, I was like, "Oh, you want me to be a piece of shit? Then I'll be a piece of shit." Okay, you think I'm garbage at the game? Then
Mhm.
I'll prove you wrong. I'll get my top 8. I'll destroy your favorite players, as I always do. Like it's literally what I've always been doing. But that one time at Low Tide City, I definitely went overboard because, like, I
Mhm.
remember there's this one guy on Twitter. I'm not gonna give him clout, so I'm not gonna say their name. But I beat him in doubles. And I talked my trash obviously after beating him. Right. I told him something along the lines of, you know, with all the things you post on social media, I thought you would be a lot better than this, like in person. And they didn't say anything to me. And what did they do? Instead, they just went on Twitter and tweeted. And I was like,
No way.
bro, that's exactly what I mean.
Yeah, no way.
But then with syrup, I remember I definitely went overboard because there's a couple things to it. Even
Mhm.
after I said it, I was like, why did I do that? Like even before like doubling down on social media, I was like, why did I do that? Right? I felt stupid because okay, syrup and I met during the pandemic. Um, we were like we would play a couple times. Like we never really played like so much, but we played like 2 or 3 times. And I was always like, yo, this guy, he's gonna make waves. He's really good with Ness and whatever. And then when I said that to him, I was like, why did I do it, man? Like he never did anything to me. And something that I never posted, or because I mean I didn't feel like, is that I actually looked for him the next day to try to talk to him in person, like not on Twitter, not on DMs,
Yeah, yeah.
whatever. Like I talked to him in person. And I was like, hey man, like, do you want to talk? He was like, no. And I was like, okay, understandable. But his mom was there, and I was like, hey, could I at least talk to you? Like, I want to let him know through some way, like at least, that I do feel sorry because I understand if he doesn't want to talk right now, but like, I really want to let you know that I definitely feel sorry about it. I definitely do not mean any of what I told him of like, oh, you suck, I believe is what I said, or you're garbage. I don't remember, something like that. Like, yeah, no, oh, I remember it was like the you fucking suck. I was like, he definitely doesn't fucking suck. I mean, it was game 5 for a reason. It was last hit for a reason. I had to make a 3-stock comeback for a reason. And I really want to let you know that he has a very bright future in this game. He is really good. He will make it really far in bracket. He will upset a lot of top players. And I really don't want any of this to like affect him. I don't want him to stop competing. I
Yeah.
don't want this to get like super deep, like, you know what I'm saying? And she was like, no, yeah, but I agree with everything you just said, but I do want to let you know that you were very disrespectful. And I was like, I understand. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. She was mad at me, obviously, understandably so. But I think we ended up in good terms because like I did like I would really all of the time say because I don't know how else to like let them know, right? Because I was like, please, I really, really want you to understand that I really am sorry. It was just it was mostly the heat of the moment, to be honest. Let's be fair. Um, compiled with like my bad mentality during that weekend, it ended up in a bad result. But ever since, I've really tried to like change that. I don't think I've gotten into any beef ever since. This was like 3 months ago, especially. So it's a long time now. Um, and yeah, I'm just trying to like improve. I don't want to be the people's champ or anything anymore. I think that's long gone. At some point, I wanted to, but without I started receiving like a response from the community, I kind of gave up on it. Never really wanted to be a villain either. I like, well, aside from Low Tide City, whatever. But even like eventually I realized, this is not good. Like, I'll just be myself. If people like it, that's fine. If people don't, that's also fine. But I do eventually want to let everyone know that I do want to become better. Like, I do want to just, I want to win a tournament now. I don't think I've ever talked to you about this either, but I've always been like, oh, top 8, let's go. Oh, top 3, let's go. Oh, top 2, let's go. But I've never been like,
Yeah.
I want to win a
Yeah.
tournament.
Yeah, I agree. You never mentioned it like that. You never been like, dude, I'm gonna fucking win.
Yeah. And it's because, like, I've never really taken it to heart. And I was talking to someone at at Gummel, and I was like, dude, I'm telling you this right now, whether it's this tournament or any of the upcoming ones, my mentality is not to get top 8 anymore. My mentality is just to become better as a player and win a tournament, but that will also involve me handling situations better, both on social media and in real life, which is why I do have a lot of regrets, and that's the main one. I could talk about all of the other ones I have, like not handling stuff properly, but I really want to like say that well, I could have handled things better, but I was so young, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I was 19. Like, you can't expect me to handle stuff that well. I was in college. I was in like the second semester of college, like fourth semester
Yeah.
at max. So
A lot of stuff going on.
yeah. Yeah, but I'm trying to get better at it. I hope everyone gives me a chance for it. Like, it's okay. If I don't end up being the people's champ, that's fine. I'll understand. But my goal right now is just I'm really into myself right now, Like,
Yeah.
I really want to become a better person, better player, better everything. Win a tournament. It's my goal. I really want to win a major now. Like, that's what I've been
Nice.
saying.
Awesome, dude. Well, as a competitor, I wish you the best. I really hope we play again. And as a friend, of course, good luck. And I'll be there to support you, of
Yeah, thank you,
course.
man. As always, as
But
always.
you're always gonna be some people's champs, and there's always gonna be some people that hate you. So you just stay with your play, try to be better, and once you do that, believe me, your results are going to get instantly better. And like Meister said, not only as a person, but also as a competitive, you will start like having better results.
Yeah, thank you,
So
man.
everybody, good luck. And if you get hate, I know it's hard to ignore it, but I mean, if you don't do that, it's not gonna stop. Like you gotta keep grinding. You gotta show them they're wrong, and you gotta keep winning. You're gonna keep doing your stuff.
Yeah, no, for sure. Thank you, man. I will continue working on myself like every single day. Every single day.
Thank you guys so much for watching this first episode. Don't forget that the free first minutes of this episode will be on Metafight's YouTube channel, and the full episode will be on Metafight.com every single Friday weekly.